Thank you so much for joining our Beef Genetics Ag in the Classroom lesson. We're so excited to talk about beef cattle, about how genetics kind of work, and what sort of traits farmers look for, and the different breeds of beef cows and the characteristics between beef and dairy cows. So, we're going to start off with a story. Next up, we will read My Family's Beef Farm.
My Family's Beef Farm by Katie Olthoff. My Family's Beef Farm, written by Katie Olthoff, photographed by Jen Hinman, printed in collaboration with the Iowa Ag Literacy Foundation and the Iowa Beef Industry Council. Hi, I am Cecilia. This is my mom, dad, brother, and sister. We live and work together on our family's farm. The Rao family lives in central Iowa. Tanner is a farmer and Laura works for an agriculture company. Cecilia is 10 years old, Ben is 8, and Adeline is 6. About 1 million farmers and ranchers in the U.S. raise cattle. Farmers grow food. They also work hard to care for the land and livestock. On our farm, we raise corn, soybeans, and beef cattle. We also have a dog, 3 ponies, and 2 horses. Did you know that Iowa is home to more than 26,000 cattle farms? 97% of the farms in the U.S. are family farms like Cecilia's. Livestock are farm animals which include cattle, hogs, sheep, goats, poultry, and others. Companion animals are pets like dogs, cats, ponies, and horses. Cattle are important to my family. My great-great-great-grandpa was a farmer. He taught my great-great-grandpa how to care for the land and animals. Then my great-great-grandpa taught my great-grandpa, who taught my Grandpa Glenn, and Grandpa Glenn taught my dad. My dad is teaching my brother or sister. This is Grandpa Glenn with his grandpa in the mid-1950s on the same place where I live. The Rao family settled in Iowa in the 1860s. They raised a variety of crops and livestock. Over the years, many farmers in Iowa began specializing in one type of livestock. Since the turnoff of the century, the Rao family farm has focused on cattle. Some of our cattle are born on my grandpa's cow-calf farm. He has 100 mama cows who live out here on pasture. There is plenty of fresh grass for all the cattle to eat and water for them to drink. Pasture is a grassy fenced-in field where livestock like cattle can eat and live. Did you know that pastures help prevent erosion? The roots from the grass hold soil in place on the hilly land. Every year, the cows have a baby called a calf. The calves are born on the pasture. A calf is a cow's baby. Most of the time, calves are born on their own, but when the farmer is expecting calves, he checks on his cows every 2 to 3 hours, even in the night. A new calf weighs about 70 pounds. It can walk just 1 hour after it's born. The calf stays with its mom for about 6 months, drinking her milk and learning to eat grass. An average calf weighs 70 pounds at birth, and an average third grader weighs about 50 to 60 pounds. Grandpa moves the cows and calves from one part of the pasture to another about once a week. This way they can have fresh grass to eat. He also checks on them several times a week to make sure they are healthy. Farmers want to use the land efficiently, growing as much food as possible with the land that is available. Rotational grazing is when the farmers are moving the cows frequently to different paddocks of grass. One way farmers use the land to carefully grow a lot of food. Farmers and ranchers make continuous improvements to protect the environment. Modern beef farms are more efficient, requiring less water, land, and energy. When the calves are about 6 months old, they begin eating more grass and grain. These cattle are beef cattle raised for their meat. Other cattle are dairy cattle raised mostly for milk, but also for beef. There are many different breeds of cattle. Each breed has distinct characteristics, including different colors of hair. Some are bigger, some are smaller, some are better for warmer climates, and some are better for cooler climates. Did you know that there are more than 70 different breeds of cattle in the U.S.? Cattle eat grass for most of their lives. People can't eat grass, but cattle can. They eat food that we can't eat and then turn it into yummy beef or milk. A ruminant is animals that can eat grass, including cattle, goats, and sheep. Ruminants have 4 compartments in their stomach that help them digest the grass. There are many different ways to raise cattle. Some cattle live on pasture for their whole lives. Other cattle move into feed yards where they live in open lots or barns. When Grandpa's calves are about 550 pounds, they move to the feed yard on our farm. Farmers use different housing systems depending on the climate and their individual farms. Sustainability is when raising cattle in a different way that is environmentally sound, economically viable, and socially responsible. Farmers consider sustainability when making decisions on their farms. No matter where cattle are raised, the farmers like my dad and grandpa take care of them every day. Farmers are very dedicated to the care of their livestock. Did you know that whether it's New Year's Day or the 4th of July, farmers will be working without a day off? Even in a blizzard or a thunderstorm, they will take care of their animals. Every morning we get up early to feed our cattle. These 3 calves belong to my brother, sister, and me. We take special care of them in the summer. We take them to county fair. But most of our cattle live in these open yards or barns. Show cattle are cattle that are raised for competitions at county and state fairs. The best cattle on the farms are taken to livestock shows where farm kids can show their animals the way that they take care of them. The cattle get vaccines to keep them healthy, just like my brother, sister, and I do. If the cattle do get sick, Dad and Grandpa work with a veterinarian to make them healthy again. Cattle may receive antibiotics when they're sick. The antibiotics do not affect the quality or the safety of the meat. Kids get vaccines to keep them from getting sick, so do cattle. A veterinarian is a doctor for animals. Veterinarians monitor the cow and calf's health. Veterinarians, or vets for short, attend college for 4 years and then a college of veterinary medicine for 4 more years. We grow corn to feed our cattle. They love the corn and grow quickly when they eat it. Dad uses a special feed recipe that mixes the corn with other ingredients. He changes the recipe as the cattle grow. Why do farmers feed cattle corn? Corn is high in energy, which helps cattle grow quickly and efficiently. Some corn is made into ethanol, which is like a fuel like gasoline. After ethanol is made, distillers' grains are left over and the cattle can eat these too. Efficient is preventing the wasteful use of a particular resource. We recycle the cattle manure to fertilize the fields. Then the fields grow more corn for next year. The floor in the barns is covered with cornstalk bedding. The cattle manure can be scooped up and used as fertilizer on the fields. The manure contains important nutrients that improve the soil health and make the corn grow better. Recycling the manure in corn stalks is another example of how farmers and ranchers practice sustainability and efficiency. The calves come to our farm when they are about 6 months old. They stay here for about 200 days. Dad feeds them once a day. He checks on them 2 more times each day. Dad makes sure the cattle are healthy and comfortable. A cattle ration is a carefully balanced nutrition diet that is developed with livestock nutritionists and changes as the cattle grow. Beef Quality Insurance is a program that was created in 1987 and includes research, training, and certification that helps farmers and ranchers provide the best care for their cattle. The handling and care of more than 90% of feed yard cattle is influenced by this program. When the cattle weigh about 1,300 pounds, we sell them. They are made into beef and other things we use every day. More than 1,000 quarter-pound hamburgers can be made from 1,300-pound steer, as well as steaks, ribs, and roast. There are 38 cuts or types of lean beef. Did you know that 1 serving of lean beef, which is 3 ounces, provides 10 nutrients your body needs each day for about 150 calories? 1 3-ounce serving of beef is about the size of a deck of cards or a cell phone. Did you know footballs are made from a cow's hide, and lipstick and glue have ingredients from cattle too? Cattle provide us with many other byproducts. A byproduct is parts of the cow that are not meat. Byproducts come from the hide, fat, bones, organs, blood, and feet. They're used to make different things for people to use. But the best thing that comes from cattle is beef. My brother loves hamburgers. My sister and I love sloppy joes. Mom and Dad love steak with potatoes. Beef provides more than 10% of the daily value for 10 essential nutrients. The nutrients in beef help you grow. Did you know that zinc helps you think and improves your memory? Iron carries oxygen to your blood to give you energy. And protein makes your muscles strong. Most of the beef you buy is considered natural, meaning it's minimally processed and contains no additives. When I grow up, I want to be a veterinarian. I want to help care for animals. But for now, I'm glad I live on my family's beef cattle farm. Here, I get to help my family take care of our cattle every day. There are many different jobs that make the beef industry successful. A farmer is someone who cares for the animals every day. A veterinarian is a doctor for animals. An animal nutritionist is someone who develops diets to keep animals healthy and help them grow. An animal scientist is someone who researched the best way to care for cattle, ways to make food safer, and other topics.
Just as we saw in our story up here on the screen is more examples of what we get from beef cows. So it's not just meat. We get a lot of different things from different parts of the cow. I have some other fun facts about beef cows that I want to share. The first thing is that there is a difference between beef cows and dairy cows. Dairy cows are raised to provide milk, and beef cows are raised to provide beef. beef cows do provide milk to their babies, to their calves, but they are not raised on farms for their dairy production. Cows are red-green colorblind. An adult female cow is called a cow. An adult male cow is called a bull. A young female is called a heifer, and a baby cow is called a calf. And males are also sometimes called steers. Cows typically only have one calf, but sometimes they do have a set of twins. Cows like to stay with their herd. They like to stay together. Cows can drink a bathtub full of water a day. So that's something that's really important to farmers, is to make sure that their water is safe and available for the cows at all hours of the day. Cow meat is called beef. We're going to talk more about that in a little bit. There are over 1,000 breeds of cows. So on your screen is obviously just a few of them. There's many more cow breeds around the world, and we are going to talk more about breeds in a little bit as well, and about traits. Popular beef cuts include tenderloin, roast, brisket, flank steak, ribeye, sirloin, and filet. Cows can live for 25 years. Cows primarily eat grass and hay, but they can also eat corn, cotton seeds, and silage. But they only eat plants. They are herbivores. Cows are ruminant animals. So humans only have one stomach with one chamber, but cows have one stomach with 4 chambers. And I'm sure you have heard of that before, that cows have 4 stomachs. They really just have one stomach, but it's 4 different chambers, and that helps them break down all of the vegetation that they eat. And lastly, cows are raised on all continents around the world except for Antarctica, which I thought was a very interesting fact. Now we are going to talk about breeds and different traits and things like that come along with farming beef cows. So I'm sure that most of you have a pet at your home. If you have a dog, I'm guessing that most of your dogs are different breeds or different mixes of breeds. We have chosen these breeds because we like the way that they look, or maybe they don't shed too much. Maybe some of them, we wanted them to be bigger. Maybe we wanted them to be more active. Maybe we want a smaller dog that is okay with staying inside. We have picked this breed with certain traits for whatever reason to have in our home. All of them are dogs, but all of them are a little bit different. The same thing goes on the farm. The same thing happens with beef or dairy cows. So the farmer has beef cattle on the farm, but there are different breeds that provide different things for the farm. There are different traits that each breed has that provides different things. So the farmer decides what breed they would like to have on their farm. Some traits that they will look into is calving ease and reproductive performance. Are these cows going to be good moms? Are they going to be able to have babies, therefore giving the farmer the next generation of animals? Are they fast growers? How do they handle heat? How do they handle dry weather? Are they strong? Can they walk out to pasture well? They will also look at the marbling. Marbling is the amount of fat that is found in animal meat. The more marbling there is in the meat, the more flavor there is. So on the screen, there's pictures of different amounts of marbling within a certain cut of meat. So if that farmer wants to grow animals that provide a lot of marbling, therefore providing a lot of flavor and hoping that that's what the customers are wanting, then they are going to look for a breed with a high marbling trait. The same thing happens with humans. Your mom has certain traits and a dad has certain traits, and those certain traits are passed down to us. So blue eyes is a trait, brown hair is a trait, tall, long legs is a trait, athletic is a trait. So the farmer is looking for different genetic traits to carry through their herd. We call it selective breeding when we are choosing the breed of animal that we have on our farm based on the certain traits that they have. On your screen here, it says this first type of cattle has good resistance to heat but poor beef. The middle one, good beef but poor heat resistance. And the last one is a crossbreed of the two. It's formed by crossing the first one with the second one. Therefore, it has good heat resistant and good beef. So you have combined the two good traits to make the most successful breed that you can have on your farm. Here's an example where we crossbred two different breeds to get the different traits, the good genetic traits that we were looking for. The Simmental cow has superior weight gain, maternal traits, so they're good moms, and they have high meat yields. But the Angus does not have horns. Polled does not have horns. They have a solid coat, and their meat marbling is maybe better than the other one. So, farmers and scientists came up with the Sim Angus in the 20th century by mixing the two breeds and getting the best of both worlds, getting best of those both genetic trait makeups. Now we are going to do a little activity where we are going to create our own herd. So each of you should have a little worksheet here that says create your own herd at the top. And I am going to do a virtual coin flip to determine what genes our offspring, our baby cows, are going to have. So as I flip the virtual coin, on the right-hand side, you can write down underneath the offspring trait, you can write down which one we get. So if for gender, we'll flip a coin. If I get the heads in the right-hand corner, the right-hand side, you will write female. If I get tail, you will write male. So I'm just going to go through the different traits really quick. So gender obviously is male or female. So they can actually use different things to determine or to encourage a female or male cow. There's also the horned or the polled. So a horned cow will have horns. The polled cows do not. They no longer have horns in their genetic makeup. The reason that we maybe don't want horns with our cows is just for the safety of the cows and for the farmers. The horns are the defense mechanism. So if they get into a fight with one of their partners, their pin partners, we don't want them to be hurting the other cows. And also if they get scared or something by the farmer, we don't want them to hurt the farmer or the equipment that is trying to help them and keep them safe and feed and water them and all that kind of stuff. The next one is black coat or red coat. So depending if we get a heads or tails, what color our body is going to be. Then a solid coat or a spotted coat. That's another thing that can be genetically changed within the animals. And then a north or a south breed. So a north breed would mean that it can handle colder climates, and the south breed means that it can handle a little bit warmer climates. So like in Texas or farther south than here in Iowa. Okay, so it looks like we got a male horned cow with a black spotted coat. that tolerates the north weather better, which is good for us here in Iowa because we do get colder winters and hotter summers. So this is a nice breed for us here in Iowa. So down at the bottom here, it says, you farmer, you can put your name, you can write your name there, have successfully bred a blank breed beef calf named whatever name you want. So take a look at what the traits are here: male, horned, black coat, spotted. There are the 3 breeds up at the top, the Hereford, Angus, or the Seminole. You can take a look and see which one you think we just made with our coin flips, and you can put that in that second blank, and then down at the bottom you can name your calf. And then if you want to color the calf using the descriptions or the traits that we got with our coin flips, you can do that now as well. We'll do this one more time, then that's the lesson for the day. So hopefully you learned a little bit about genetics and about beef cows and have an appreciation for the beef farmers that provide us with all the delicious beef that we like to eat all year long. I will do this one more time where we can flip the coin through the options and see if we get the same or some different things. And maybe you could color a new cow on the back or something like that. And then that is all that I have for you. Thank you so much for joining our beef genetics video.